Good morning guys, and welcome to a new mood reading vlog. So straight away I'm going to do a tarot card pull to pick my first prompt. This is a really cool deck. This is a Cardamom Dreams deck. So let's get shuffling. Every day I'm shuffling. Oh, got one. Okay, so I have the Three of Cups, and the prompt for this card is, the prompt for this one is pick a book based on your current yarn. So you would have seen in my last vlog, I actually showed the current yarn. I'm just going to put this away. And I've just finished it. So you get to see the finished project. Yay. So this is the current yarn situation. It doesn't really come up on here. It is mostly red with a few little other bits of color. So I'm going to, like I usually do, excuse-moi, bring up a few options. I'm going to go on my Goodreads and we're going to just grab a few, and I might do try a chapter. Okay, so straight away, I feel like Tantrum Actually Faltered, which was a book on my TBR from last month, would have been a perfect fit, but is it going to come in? Probs not. What else we got? Bad Nature by Ariel Courage. Happiness Falls by Angie Kim. That's actually pretty decent. That's got a lot of the colors on there. I think that's the most accurate. And I'll choose one more. And another one that's got quite a lot of colors. 0 Stars Do Not Recommend by MJ Vassmer. So what I might do is, I know I don't have Tantrum, that hasn't come in. I'll check the others, see what's available, and do a try a chapter. A little Tinder swipe situation, you know. Yes. Swipe right, swipe left. So I will do that later on and let you know which one was the victor. I had a stressful start to the morning. So my neighbors came to let me know that last night, it looks like that they might be teenage men, but 2 balaclavaed, machete-wielding men and one in a getaway car were going door to door on my street trying to gain entry into the house. They did eventually gain entry into one of my neighbors' houses, and they stole their wallet and their car while the family was sleeping upstairs. So I slept right through this event. I was not aware. The neighbors, however, have a camera system that texts them when it's triggered. They didn't get the text straight away because they weren't next to their phone, but half an hour later at around 1:45 in the morning, they noticed the text message and they looked at the footage, saw the men with the machetes and called the police. By the time the police came, obviously the criminals were gone. So they came to me, they're like, what's your situation? I'm like, well, I've got cameras, but I don't get notified, and they don't have a siren function or anything or lights. So I am now going to buy a camera that has a floodlight that texts me if it's triggered, and that has a siren that I can activate from inside the house, because I think that's the best situation, is to try and scare them off immediately and alert the whole street. Like, my whole street has now gotten together, which is fantastic, and we've formed a neighborhood watch, and we're all now going to be hyper vigilant. And I think it's like, I tried for so many years with all my other neighbors. Like, this particular neighbor, we're tight. This is the ones that we swap fruit with each other. We swap things we don't need. We always check on each other if each other's alarms go off. We're tight, but everybody else wasn't interested in swapping numbers, which boggles my mind. It's like, wouldn't you want your neighbor to have your number in case your alarm goes off so they can call you? But no, they said, nah, we're fine. So now I think it's changed all the neighbors' minds and we're all banding together, but very scary. Supposedly, this is not new. This literally happened the day after 2 teenagers, a 12-year-old and a 15-year-old, were killed in the street, stabbed to death from these machete gangs. So there's just this thing in Melbourne at the moment, teenagers with machetes either stabbing each other, like it's happened at shopping centres, including the shopping centre I go to. They just attack each other and stab each other, in front of everybody, or they break into houses to rob them, to steal cars mostly. So yeah, I'm going to obviously sit down with my kids and we're going to have a game plan. If mummy, yells a certain word, that means get out of the house, go to the neighbors. I don't know, I just want to have a situation where my kids can at least, get into the bathroom, lock the door. I just want to make sure that they can just get themselves safe so I don't have to worry about them. I can just focus on the intruders. I need to like increase my security, increase preventative measures, and it is what it is. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, sourcing a new camera and alarm system and getting that installed hopefully as soon as possible. The police did say that they will be patrolling our street every hour overnight, just in case they return. I'm just glad obviously they were not able to gain access to my house, but I guess not everybody locks all their windows and doors properly. So yeah, it is what it is, but that's what happened last night. Crazy world we're living in. But yeah, communities need to band together and protect each other. I think that's the only way to go. You know, we all got to look out for each other. But in terms of what else I'm reading, I don't know. I'm going to just do this little tri-chapter thing first. Probably not today, to be honest. I think today I'm just going to be focused on the camera situation, and maybe tomorrow we'll see how we go.
You're not afraid of the doggy?
No, she wants to say hello to you, but she's scared of your little situation happening down here. Hello. Nero and I hanging out. Hey Nero, he's a little baby. He's so small. So it came, so this is the Illumicrate edition of the Raven Scholar. Just gorgeous. So I'm so happy that Illumicrate do allow you to buy the books separately afterwards, because I would, to be honest, I would really love to have this, whatever you want to call it, Fairy Loot edition, the cream one, but Fairy Loot are not selling it separately. So ooh, very cool. Kind of wish Lucian was in it though. And it's signed.
Pink galahs, they're so cute. But they go on the road a lot. They're a bit silly.
Hello my darlings, it's been a while. I've been dealing with the attempted home invasions. They're continuing on. Every morning I wake up to messages from my neighbors saying, yep, they tried our house last night. Good stuff. But don't worry, my new camera's in. My dad fixed it up for me, so now I get a little ding 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 sound every time someone activates it, and it's got a siren and a floodlight. So I'm feeling pretty safe that I can be woken up and scare them off immediately. So that's what's going on there. I also got my blood test results back. Not good. They were not good. They've taken me off meds. They've put me on new ones. I'm basically just a pharmaceutical guinea pig at the moment. It's a great time and I'm loving it. Besides that, I have read some books. I've DNF'd some as well. So we're going to start with DNFs. There was 0 Stars Do Not Recommend by MJ Westmer. And this was the read a book that's the same as your yarn prompt. So in this book, Dan Foster just wanted a vacation, not a front row seat to the apocalypse. The sun explodes, the Wi-Fi goes MIA, and suddenly the resort's richest guests become leaders of the mini fridge, i.e. the rich hoard all the resources and turn the security guards into their personal militia. And Dom has to decide if he's going to save his girlfriend, save the island, or just finally admit he peaked in high school. This was very much giving MMC as an author self-insert. Everything in this book felt kind of silly and over the top. The humor was just not my style. You know, it was fine, but not a 4-star and up potential, so I did decide to DNF it. Then I picked up Rose in Chains by Julie Soto. So this is a Hermione fanfic, a pairing Hermione with Draco. Full disclosure, I'm not a Hermione shipper. Who would I ship her with? I would ship her with Harry or Neville, not Draco. I'm sorry. I know Draco is a product of his upbringing, but he's still a sniveling twat. No thank you. In this book, reimagining if you will, you have Princess Bryony, and she is supposed to help her twin brother claim the throne. But oopsie, there's a little bit of a snafu when there is a coup. And now she's captured, her brother's dead, her daddy's dead, and she's listed up on magical eBay. All of the ladies get auctioned off, and her buyer is Tovin Hurst, a guy whose family is basically Voldemort LLC, and he's also her inconvenient crush. Real awkward. So now she's stuck. She is playing as his reluctant houseguest / hostage, whilst plotting either her escape, his downfall, or their enemies to lovers fanfic. Oh boy, oh boy. So look, I've tried a few Julie Soto books, and I haven't been a huge fan, and unfortunately this was no different. I thought I'd give it a go because it has a gorgeous sprayed edges edition, and I thought I have to try the sprayed edges editions just in case they slap, so I can buy said sprayed edge edition. However, the whole shtick of this is sexual slavery. Okay, so all the girls get auctioned off. They get bought by men who want to use them as their sex slaves. They want to literally succubus them. No, men are incubuses. They want to drain them of their magic whilst banging them as well. Virginity seems to be highly prized in this, and I'm not ever a fan of the whole, virgins are worth more shtick. There's a lot of constant threats of grape and forced sterilization abounding. So it was kind of reminding me of Manacled in that way. It just makes it not fun. The constant essay and being turned into an object or chattel, cattle too, because I'm sure they're breeding some of these women. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that premise. The magic system and the world building seem to be concept only. So cool concepts. You've got heart and mind magic, but then also the princess has protection magic. That's why they were the ruling family, because they could protect their land. Obviously not that well. But it wasn't really fleshed out in a way. It didn't really feel important either. It was the author structured this in a way that just absolutely killed the pacing. There were constant flashbacks, completely out of time, back to when she was studying, with this Draco stand-in guy, and they were having some tension and some light bullying. I think they were going for Carden and Jude vibes. Didn't feel any chemistry though. Nothing. Zip. So no, I didn't really have anything going for it. Like, it seemed fine. It's probably a book that would end up around 3 stars, but yeah, I'm not going to push through as pretty as the sprayed edges are. And then I picked up, what did I pick up? Oh, The Never Was by Tyler Knott Gregson. So this is an arc from NetGalley, and this is a book of poetry. And in the poetry book, it features full color photographs, which I thought were really lovely. And also each poem is typewritten onto a fragment of paper, which I also get a kick out of. And I guess in this one, Knotts is reopening his own unfinished drafts. So he got a late in life autism diagnosis, and it has reshaped the way that he sees both himself and his work. So through this lens, the incomplete lines and the half thoughts that he discarded in the past no longer appear broken, but rather they are authentic notes of a neurodivergent mind at work. Sometimes I speak really weird. So he paired these previously rejected drafts with new poems, and the fragments thus have become a narrative of self-discovery, acceptance, and healing. It was mostly a celebration of imperfection. So the beauty in what's raw, unfinished, unfiltered, unrefined. And Gregson, I think, was trying to convey that we are all a mosaic of our flaws. And sometimes the pieces we try to cast away are actually the very ones that make us whole. So it was about neurodivergence, imperfection, and the quiet grace of simply being. Look, I resonated with some things being neurodivergent. I also resonated with the fact that Gregson does not like being cold. Me neither, Tyler. Me neither. However, I picked this up because I liked Tyler's previous works, especially his salacious, saucy, dirty stuff. I will give you a sample. There was like a few of those in here, not many, to be perfectly frank with you. I'm going to need one moment because it turns out I forgot to take a photo of them, so I now have to go back into NetGalley and bring up the book and then swipe until I find the right poem. Okay, so I'll read you another one first. Not the dirty one, but don't worry. I will do that too. Andean geese throw themselves from cliff tops, feathers pinned to smooth sides. dive to certain death when that which they choose to love breathes no more. Love is a flight-graced creature that silently refuses to save itself, to flap its own wings. So I immediately looked that up. Do Andean geese, in fact, commit suicides? So what this is referring to, it's not exactly cut and dry like that. So there is a phenomenon where hundreds of birds fall into the sacred lakes in Ecuador each year during September and October. The locals tend to point to supernatural things like an offering to Mother Earth. However, scientists did step in and they are theorizing that either it's potential health issues with the birds or it's most likely due to the fact that there are gaseous emissions above this lake, and they do believe that these volcanic lakes intoxicate the birds, causing them to plummet and drown. So they're not, Romeo and Julieting themselves. They're probably getting disoriented from fumes and then dying. All right, now let's find the dirtier ones, which definitely ones that I prefer. Lather me in your hands. I will go where the soap will go, smooth like silk to all the places you want me to reach. Overall, I thought this was okay. It was okay. I think it's very pinnable, but yeah, it was fine. So besides that, I am heading to the library today to do a big book haul because I don't know what else to read. I'm a bit indecisive at the moment, but I'll see what they've got going on there. I'm also going to grab myself an acai bowl because your bitch is craving one real bad. So I'm going to do that, do some shopping. I don't know if I'm going to get both libraries. I might just do one today, save the other one for another day. We'll see. But I will see you when I get back with some books to show you, I forgot to mention, I also wanted to weigh in on all the drama regarding the newest adaptation of Wuthering Heights by Emerald Fennell. Is it Fennell? I feel like it's Fennell, not Fennel. Anyway, I am a contrarian with this. Look, for me, I actually don't want any more faithful adaptations and retellings. Go your own way. Do something different. Put your own spin on it. Surprise me. Okay, that's how I feel with retellings these days. I know Wuthering Heights. I have seen many of the Wuthering Heights adaptations. It's more of the same, I don't care for more of the same. I want something fresh and exciting. I also don't think this is actually going to be a full-on retelling. I have a feeling it's not entirely Wuthering Heights, but I'm here for it, okay? Yeah, it's dirty and weird, and I love that. I love Emerald's work. I like her books, and I like her movies. I will absolutely be watching this movie and getting my rocks off most likely. So, I'm pro the new Wuthering Heights movie, and we'll definitely watch. And I'm hoping it's going to be wacky and weird as shit with a lot of horniness. Let me know if you're looking forward to it or you don't like it. Okay, I'm back. Bad news. The acai bowl ladies only work on Saturday and Sundays now, so no acai bowl for me. I'm going to try and make my own, but I just realized I don't have acai and I have like half a cup of frozen berries, so we'll see how that goes. But let me show you the books I got. So I got The Unsuitable by Molly Perlig. It's a gothic ghost story and Victorian novel. I've got a romance here. So this is Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. Once again, heard a lot of good things about this. I think it's a pregnancy trope, which I don't like, but then Out on a Limb came out of nowhere and blew me away. But majority of romance books, I do DNF, like the vast majority. Then I've got We Live Here Now by Sarah Pinborough. Your dream home comes with a big problem. Saw this all over booktube, so grabbed it up. We've got The Incandescent by Emily Tesh. Very cool cover. Unfortunately, the reviews, hello Sylvie, that have been coming out have been very mediocre. So I'm lowering my expectations for this one a lot. I've got A Magic Deep and Drowning by Hester Fox. Dead Ends by Samantha Byers. I just really love this cover. A book for one of my reading vlogs for Halloween. Oh, and this. So this is Delicious in Dungeon by Ryoko Kui. And I'm on the lookout for a manga to fill the Freyren hole that is in my life. So I looked on Goodreads. It's like, hey, if you like Freyren, you might like this. So I thought I would give it a go. It's eat or be eaten, literally. So I think this is something to do with coconut monsters, I think, to eat. So I will be giving this manga a go. But if you do have any recommendations for manga that is like Freren, let me know down below. But that is everything today. I am now just going to go back to working on my oracle deck and trading the stock market. Yum, 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 yum. Hey guys, so I've got some reading updates for you. So I did start reading Delicious in Dungeon by Ryoko Kui. I'll put some pictures of the illustrations up above. So this book is about a group of plucky adventurers, wannabe heroes, who get their asses kicked by a dragon who also ends up eating one of their members. Post thrashing, a few members of their group do hand in their resignations, but the remaining peeps decide to immediately head back into the cave to retrieve their fallen comrade. But spaghetti-o, they've got no money for food. So these broke bitches decide that the only way to survive is to go full on Gordon Ramsay on every monster they meet. I pay for rations when you can saute some slime, grill a griffin, or braise a basilisk. Yum yum. It's Iron Chef Dungeons and Dragons edition with the constant threat of food poisoning, getting eaten by your own ingredients, and arguing over whether mimics taste more like chicken or fish of the sea. So what do I think about it? It's cute. Okay, it is cute. The illustration style is lovely. The food pictures are particularly cute. It's got a very cozy feel. However, it's illustrated, so they do show them dissecting a scorpion to eat, harvesting monster slime to eat, and it was just making me real queasy. I was getting real queasy, and I was like, oh, I just don't, I'm not into like gross food stuff, especially, it turns out, the preparation of monsters to eat. So I've decided this one's not for me. I do see why this would be recommended to people who like Freren. It's got, like I said, a very cozy, found family, wry humor aspect to it. But yeah, the monster mash didn't jive well with my stomach. So yes, I DNF that one. I think I'm going to go on to Ready or Not by Cara Bastone next, because I'm reading so much horror for my themed vlogs that I need a palate cleanser. And I think on the spectrum of genres, the opposite to horror is romance. At least in my brain it is. So I'm going to go into that. I'm also hoping to get a hold of Julie Chen is Dead. Oh my God, I can't remember the name of the book, but that was the one I got for my first book on booktube. Okay, I just got another message from another neighbor. It's probably been another attempted invasion. This is just fun. Every day, gotta find out. At least it wasn't for me, but downside of having a camera that has a massive floodlight whenever the sensor gets triggered is that I've been waking up multiple times a night because it's right outside my bedroom, the camera. So the light streams in all the little like cracks, you know, underneath my curtains, and I get woken up. But yeah, it is what it is. I've got Valentine's friends coming over today, so I'm gonna clean the house like a maniac, and I'm almost finished one of my oracle decks, so I just do want to buckle down and get that done. There's a few that I'm making because I'm on this big, creativity burst, and I am very unhealthy in that if I get a great idea and I get this burst of inspiration, I will burn myself out on it. I can't just do it in a healthy manner, like a little bit at a time. I fixate and just want to continue running with the momentum whilst the motivation is pouring out of me, and like I said, the ideas are spilling forth. I want to ride that wave right until it dies, just the whole way. So plus side of that is I tend to finish my creative projects quickly and then can rest afterwards and do nothing. I burn myself out and then I convalesce for months, and then I get another idea and I burn myself out and then I do nothing for months. So it is what it is. That's the way I roll. I've tried to change it. It doesn't work. When I force myself to stop, like I said, it kills the vibe, it kills the flow. So I'm going with it. And yesterday, I didn't really read anything the entire day, and I didn't do my decks yesterday, which I said I was going to do. I ended up having really bad cramps and pain, so I spent the whole day consuming media. I watched all of season 2 of Wednesday because they Bluebell. They split the episodes in half. I don't know, Blue. Don't act like I'm inconveniencing you. You have a whole house. You don't need to jump up on the little table that has my tripod on here. Oh, yeah. But yes, so I finished that off. I think the second half was better than the first half. I really do love Joanna Lumley. Oh my God, her winged eyeliner, perfection, absolute perfection. And I love Festa still as well. And the zombie guy, Slurp, hello, or Isaac, total hottie. Total hottie. My daughter does tell me that he's 31, so I feel okay saying that. Like, wait, what's the age? Are they grown up enough for me to say they're hot? Yep. She couldn't resist. Warm lap doesn't beat out a cluttered table. There's no space for your butt. There is no space. I'm just gonna have to accept it. So I watched that, and then I watched, what did I watch? It was a movie. Oh, Thunderbolts. So Marvel movie. Look, I love Florence Pugh. I love her. So I did enjoy this movie. I was a bit bummed that they did PG it. I think this would have been better if it had been an adult movie. It had been a bit grittier and darker, and there could have been some F-bombs dropped. I don't know why they PG a lot of stuff. I know it means that you can show it to a younger audience, but I don't feel like it makes the movie as good, in my opinion. My God, do they make Bucky the most boring fucking character I've ever seen. I'm like, he's so cool, and yet you make him as dull as dishwater. I don't understand it. I'm like, that guy's putting me to sleep. But yeah, I thought it was a good action movie. Some of the Marvel films of late have been real duds, but I was like, nah, this one's actually kind of interesting. I just don't buy Julia Louis-Dreyfus as a villain. It's not believable. I'm sorry. I'm like, hey, Elaine, how can you be scared of her? Not threatening or intimidating in the least. You know, I'm like, I feel like I could drop kick her. So yeah, if I was one of these superheroes, not that scared of her, I would have definitely taken her out. But that's what I did yesterday. Yeah, Sylvie, I was a couch potato, and yeah, I got to get started on the cleaning. Catch you when I've read some more.
Oh, now she's being nice to her tail. It was the enemy 2 seconds ago. Oh. Does anybody else's cat chase their own tail? Or do I just have a special one? Oh, it's being shifty. Oh, she got it. Keeps getting away, guys. Not gonna lie, this is very entertaining for me. And she doesn't just do this for a little bit. Sometimes she does this for half an hour. So cute. I love you.
Hello, my darlings. So I did do a little bit of reading yesterday. I am, for the moment, done with oracle making. So over the past few months, I have been going balls to the wall. I've been spending quite literally 10 to 12 hours a day making decks. So I've made 5, but I now have tendonitis in my arm. This is the way it goes for me with creative things. Yeah, over the last like 2-3 months, I have just been chained to my desk. But what was I saying? I did do some reading in bed, obviously. I do eventually retire to bed where I read. And so I picked up Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. So in this book, you have Eve, and Eve's life is fine until one unplanned one-night stand leaves her knocked up. Her friendship suddenly goes on the rocks, and then her support system shifts in very unexpected directions. She's got this whole baby daddy situation on one side, But then also her best friend's suddenly very hot brother swoops in to lend her support and perhaps to lend her some other appendages as well. And I think it's going to be about juggling motherhood and finding love and the family that ends up finding you along the way. I didn't read much. The style wasn't for me. It was so jam-packed with superfluous detail. It's like, I get it, the author really wants to flesh out all of these characters, but I don't need to know every single like, dislike, quirk, habit, whatever, thought of all of these individual characters. There was so much going on. It felt very busy and it was energetically exhausting for me to read. It was, I don't know, it was one of those books that's heavy on the humor, okay? And like, it was kind of funny, but it wasn't super my humor. So I thought, oh, I'm gonna leave it for the girlies who dig it. So I did DNF that one, and I've got Julie Chan to read now on my e-reader, so that came in. I got very lucky. Sometimes I get really lucky and sometimes I don't. Like, I'm still waiting for Tantrum. But going on to that, one sec, I just have to readjust myself. I'm going to do a try chapter because I've got so many physical books in. So we'll do a little try chapter scenario to see what the physical book is that I'm going to be picking up as well. That is what's on the agenda. You'll be seeing all of my book browsing, because I'm probably not going to buy a book browsing and matcha questing in my It's the Vibe vlog. If I do anything extra, I'll show you that. But that's everything, and I will catch you guys once I've read something, or I might, when I return, do the try chapter, I think. See if this illustration style was more popular with romance, I'd read more. Hey guys, so I took some time off and I feel like I am ready to come back and talk about the books that I've read. And I will start with the books that I DNF'd. So I picked up Isabella Nag and the Pot of Basil by Oliver Darkshire. This book is about a miserable farm wife who discovers that a stolen spellbook and a sarcastic cat might be better options than her useless husband, until she ends up neck deep in a magical pyramid scheme and a basil-based obsession. This is definitely a cozy fantasy with footnotes galore. I felt like it had Terry Pratchett vibes and was definitely folkloric, mundane magic focused. I gave it a go, but it's just not for me. There's not many cozy type books that are my vibe, but if you love cozy fantasy, this might be worth a look. Then I picked up You Weren't Meant to Be Human by Andrew Joseph White. And in this book, boy meets hive, boy gets worms, boy meets boyfriend, boyfriend gets boy pregnant, hive demands worm baby. This is Appalachian body horror that becomes the worst gender reveal party ever. I implore you to read all of the trigger warnings. I didn't. I kind of wish I had, but at a certain point when shit got graphic for what just felt like shock value's sake, I decided to go and check the trigger warnings, and I decided, no, I'm not going to proceed further. I just don't want to read about this particular stuff. To give you a taste, the first chapter opens up with the boy engaging in non-consensual sex because the boy only gets off if they're being raped. So that's how it kicks off, guys. But like I said, read the trigger warnings because that's just the tip of the iceberg. I then picked up Blood from Air, well, that was a whistle, Blood from Air by Gemma Files. So imagine if reality were a sweater, but someone's cat got at it, and now it's all unraveling. Only, instead of messed up yarn, you have angels, insects, and eldritch holes that spit out things with too many teeth. The short stories were all about angels and bugs mostly. I didn't mind it, but they were all feeling like 3 and 3.5 star stories. I read about 4 stories and then decided, yeah, I'm not going to proceed, because I felt too that a lot of the endings to the short stories were kind of anticlimactic or unfinished, unsatisfyingly incomplete. It's like, you're going to end there, cool. The next book that I did pick up and read in full was Julie Chan is Dead by Lian Zhang. Julie Chan didn't mean to steal her identical twin's life. She meant to call the police when she found the body. She meant to dial 911. However, when she unlocked Chloe's phone to make that call, she also gained access to her estranged sister's sponsorship deals, her followers, her wealth, her whole life. And it was too good to pass up, and Julie's not willing to give it back. So it's goodbye, Julie. Hello, Chloe. Now all Julie's got to do is keep her head down, blend in with the beautiful belladonnas, who are a tribe of influencers who welcomed Chloe into their inner circle before she died. Julie's going to breathe, detox, work out, curate each post, filter each picture, and spend entire days doing unboxing videos. But someone out there knows that even identical twins have their differences. This has been compared to both Yellowface and Bunny, and that is apt. The beginning is very much giving Yellowface with the kind of stolen identity or the theft of an individual's work, and then the second part does the fever dream Bunny shit, but with belladonnas who are hella culty instead. I thought this was good. However, I understand that this is a satire on influencer culture and social media content, but I hate hearing about followers, subscribers, sponsorship deals, blah, 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 thanks to today's sponsor, Better Health, etc. I hate it. And unfortunately, this wasn't an exception. So reading all of that stuff just did my head in. There was some commentary on ethnic inequality in regards to social media being skewed to favor pretty white girls or rich people. In this book, though, everybody except Iz and Victor sucked. They sucked. Julie's also a bit of an idiot, I think. There was also animal death and infanticide, which I was not prepared for. Didn't expect that. But like I said, I thought it was good. However, it's the social content creator behind the scenes stuff that I just, I loathe reading about it. Yeah, not my jam, baby. But it was a good thriller that does veer into paranormal wackiness. I then picked up The Last Banquet of Temporal Confections by Tina Connolly. And in this book, a baker is forced to make magical pastries for a tyrant king, through which they hide rebellion in their desserts, while his wife relives their love and suffering with every bite as the king's personal food taster. At first, this was kind of reading like a delicate fantasy about enchanted baking, with confections that manipulate memory and time, each dessert carrying the eater into nostalgia, grief, bliss, or revelation. But beneath the sugared gaze lies a sharp political narrative. It's about a tyrant king's cruelty, a wife trapped at his table, and a baker who dares to resist with the only weapons he has: flour, sugar, and subversion. The alternating courses of pastry and flashback structure the tale like a tasting menu. Each dish deepens the emotional complexity, and the prose is layered and lengthy, just like the sheets of a millfoy. There are themes of oppression, resistance, and the cost of memory in this. It's not just a fantasy about magical food, it's about the way art, love, and even the smallest act of rebellion can bend time itself. The sweetness, though, is always haunted by bitterness. I thought this was good. The writing style and like the flashback structure isn't particularly for me. I'm not one that loves constantly going back in time because I feel that it interrupts the flow of the pacing, but in this, it was obviously done intentionally and for reason. The next book I picked up and read is We Live Here Now by Sarah Pinborough. A couple says, let's fix our marriage by moving into the creepiest house on the moors. And shockingly, the house has vibes. Dust, doom, and a murder suite. Emily's like, this place wants us dead. And Freddie's like, babe, that's just your post-sepsis paranoia talking. Cue ghostly nails, marital secrets, and the realization that both the house and the relationship needs an exorcism. So this takes the haunted house trope and threads it with marital decay, trauma, and a claustrophobic atmosphere. The novel opens with Emily recovering from a coma, hoping for renewal, only to be dragged into a decaying lodge on the Devon moors with her too optimistic husband, who is hiding things. What should be a fresh start becomes a slow suffocation. The house is saturated with a psychic heaviness that Emily feels in her bones. And it's a mirror to Emily's own damaged psyche and faltering marriage. And the haunted room works less as a cheap scare and more as a symbolic void, a bleak epicenter of loss and suppressed truths. There's gothic eeriness and contemporary unease, a whole lot of grief, violence, and unresolved trauma, showing how places can hold memory. And Emily and Freddie's relationship cracks under the weight of what they hide from each other. So this was a thriller / horror with paranormal leanings, and I thought it was good. I enjoyed my time with it. It did what it needed to do, and I was pleasantly surprised. I am now going on to The Compound by Aisling Rawle. So this is supposed to be a Love Island meets Lord of the Flies, in which 20 hot messes are stuck in a desert house competing for champagne, lipstick, and just possibly survival. Because who needs the outside world when the producers are the real apocalypse? So we'll see what this is like. I'm just heading to the stores today to buy some groceries because V's slumber party is this weekend, and I might also pop into the library and grab some books, so I will see you later. Okay, lovelies, so I did read some of The Compound by Aisling Rawle. So in the book, the game becomes a very cruel experiment in desperation. The novel itself seems to thrive on voyeurism, but as someone who doesn't watch reality TV, this didn't do anything for me. I kept waiting for more of a horror or weird element to come in, and it didn't. I thought, oh, okay, it's not that kind of book. Therefore, I am no longer interested in continuing on. So I did DNF that. I then picked up Clam Down by Annalise Chen. So this is about post-divorce life that turns the narrator into a clam, complete with shell metaphors, mollusk wisdom, and a family history of on-brand software called shell computing. Look, I get that they were trying to do this cute, sort of kitschy kind of gimmick, but it just wasn't working for me, and I couldn't take it seriously, so I decided to DNF. And then I picked up Misinterpretation by Lydia Sugar. Did not look that up, that's my bad. This was listed for the Booker Prize, and it's about an Albanian interpreter in New York who signs up for what she thinks is just another translation gig, but it snowballs into trauma flashbacks, a Kurdish poet side quest, and marriage jeopardy speed run, after which she impulsively flees back to Albania for a mum reunion reset. Ooh, boy, oh boy, the main character was incredibly frustrating in this. She was constantly lying to her husband, and I know that the main part of the book is about putting her marriage in jeopardy, but I didn't want to read about her doing it. I thought, guy, just leave her. One of her tendencies is she likes to bring home strangers to stay in their house, which is something he very much does not want. And we open the book with him complaining about the last lot of strangers, which was a family who came in because their child drew all over their walls. And the husband and wife would just barge into the bedroom, even when he was in there, to use their ensuite bathroom. And I'm like, excuse me. And she's like, hey, just take it as a compliment. It means that they thought of you as family. And I'm like, no. I don't care if it's a cultural thing. That's not your husband's culture. He's incredibly uncomfortable with not having any space in his home that is solely his. And the fact that your guests are not respecting their privacy is very much your problem that you need to fix. Where are the boundaries, bitch? She has none. As in, she doesn't respect anyone else's, because very quickly, once again, she brings another rando to stay in their house, and her husband flips out, justifiably so. Yes, he went a bit child tantrum with it, but as someone who's incredibly introverted and whose home is their only safe space and the only place they can be entirely themselves and alone, if my partner kept bringing people without running it by me into my home and then just allow them full reign, did not implement, like I said, any rules or boundaries, I would not stay in that relationship. No way. No way, Jose. But she acts like her husband's being the one that is, what's the word? Overreactionary. She also gaslights him all the time. He said, I told you I didn't want people coming over again. And she's like, no, you didn't. Or he did. So yeah, I couldn't stand her. And when her husband found out that she lied about something once again, repeatedly to his face, and she shows no remorse about it, she shows no inner dialogue that maybe she should be more honest with her husband, maybe she shouldn't not lie to him about so many things all the time, maybe she should take his needs into consideration. She didn't think any of that stuff. So I thought, nah, this is too selfish a character who I don't like. And the whole book just felt a bit dull. And the fact that every single person that I've watched thus far who's read it, the most flattering review has been, it was okay. I was like, nah, it's not worth my time. I'm not going to push through. So I did DNF that as well. And I still want to read one more book for this vlog. So I don't know what that's going to be. I could pick one of the hauls from the library, or I could try and find an ebook. I wish I could knock off some more books from my TBR, but they're not available yet. So I try and gauge what I'm in for, what I'm in the mood for. And then I will talk to you again once I have hopefully this vlog. Is it going to be the next one I pick up? Time will tell. Kitty is very upset that I am not letting her pull down the golden wall. Blue, as soon as the party's over, you can rip it all down. Yeah. Yeah. Just not right now. We got to keep it up. I'm not going to lie, these galaxy projectors are kind of cool. I'm going to have to watch her with those, make sure she doesn't puncture them. Okay. All the cats and I are hiding in my bedroom from all the girls. Oh, come on, bro. Dude, I'm not here to be an R-rated channel. Yeah, it's going to be a late night, guys. It's going to be a late night. I'm just eating some dinner and chilling. Good morning, guys. It's the morning after the big party. I think it was a success. The girls all had a great time. And I've still got some girls sleeping here, so I'll be making them some breakfast once they get up, and then some lunch because they're staying for most of the day. In terms of books, I haven't picked up anything yet, but I did get quite a lot of holds come in on Libby, so I've got a plethora, but the two that I'm leaning towards are, so one is an audiobook and it's Sunstruck by William Rayford Hunter. So I might do that. And I've also got House of Day, House of Night by Olga Tokarczuk. So those are the two that I am leaning towards picking up next. Obviously, if I pick up one, DNF it, I'll go on to the other one. So hopefully one of those two will be the final book for this reading vlog.
You're in Twitch. Oh my god. What is it?
Indy did my makeup today. What do you guys reckon?
Probably the best makeup.
It's probably the best makeup I've ever had.
Yeah. Should be a makeup artist.
Hello, Sylvie. Sylvie and Nova in the sunshine. What are you doing? Oh, there's another.
Like demonic source, but he's not demonic.
Good morning, guys. So I've read some more books. Well, I didn't have some, but because I did read over 50 pages of them, I will tell you what I picked up. Okay, so I did pick up House of Day House of Night by Olga Tokarczuk. Blueba, want to say hello? Blue's been slowly demolishing all the balloons.
Haven't you? Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Oh, scratch, 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 scratch.
As I was saying, this was translated by Antonia Lloyd-Jones. So this book is about a woman who moves to a sleepy Polish village only to find it's less quiet country life and more ghosts, drunks possessed by birds, interdimensional nightmares, and border-crossing corpses. So the town is this melting pot of the living, the dead, and the historically displaced. It's folkloric, there's some weirdness, small town gossip, and magical realism. Look, I didn't realize that this is made up of essentially short, melancholic stories about the townsfolk, which I don't love. And once I got to the story about the alcoholic dude who tries to essay women, gets into fights, was a victim of domestic abuse, and then left his dog chained up outside until it froze to death, I was like, yeah, this isn't doing anything for me. It was very fragmented. Sorry, I'm just getting so many emails and notifications. There's also a whole short story about someone's dream. I'm like, bruh, reading about fictional characters, fictional dreams is yawn-inducing. My God, sorry. So many notifications all at once. Hey, Bubbles. Hey, Bubbles. Where you going? What are you doing? What are you doing? Hi. Hi, beautiful girl. You're so beautiful. You've been chewing on this. I know you have. Yes. So yeah, I let that one go, and then I picked up Sunstruck by William Rafet Hunter. So this is about a broke young man who attends a rich family's endless south of France pool party dude, only to fall hard for the gorgeous golden-haired son and get sucked into a world of champagne's secrets and generational dysfunction. So people were comparing this to Saltburn. It's Saltburn, but way less murder and excitement. The comparison is because it's about a bunch of rich people seen through the eyes of the poor interloper. And there's some gayness, but yeah, not drinking cum bathwater and then offing the person excitement. So kind of felt like the book was trying to do too much, talk about too many topics, and the narrator just felt very cold and devoid of a personality for me. But look, with litfic, as in regular, straightforward litfic about people's, lives, I rarely tend to rate those higher than a 3.7. My preferred type of litfic is something with a bit of genre sprinkled in, so a bit of weirdness, a bit of horror, a thriller aspect, something other than just a fictional character's slice of life. So whilst I do think they're okay, like I said, I have read a lot of just general litfic, because these days I am only persevering with books that are giving me 4-star feelings and above. I did let this one go. I'm sure a lot of people would enjoy it, but it was too just Saltburn without the zhuzh, and I was like, yeah, it's okay. So I did let that one go, but I think this has been doing the rounds and people have been loving it. So if you are a general litfic reader, this might be something that interests you. The next book I picked up, I was going to pick up Moon Tiger by Penelope Lively, and by Gunnar I did. I've picked up the audiobook, and this is about an elderly historical author whom is dying in a hospital bed, and she decides to write the history of the world. And by that I mean she talks mostly about her own life, her exes, her arguments, and the one great love that got away. So it was giving it's giving kind of Evelyn Hugo vibes. I am enjoying the writing. This is a litfic though, so I'm not sure if I'm going to continue it for this vlog, because I just do want to find one book to finish this vlog off. But I am going to listen to that in the background while I work. But I thought, let's pick something else that's a bit more exciting, because I think obviously I'm needing some kind of adventure, clearly, because I've just DNF'd so many litfics, even the magical realism one. But the Olga one was not what I was thinking it was going to be. I also just got in A Girl Walks into the Forest by Madeline Rue. So, and that one is a fantasy horror. So you know what I might do is I might try both. Meanwhile, I have Moon Tiger on in the background. Moon Tiger did win one of the Booker prizes, so that's why I decided to give it a go, even though it is just a general litfic. But like I said, I'm looking for the 4-star feeling, and that's why I tend to DNF a lot in these vlogs, because so far I've just read a bunch of 3.75 books this vlog. So I'm like, oh, I want to end it with at least something that's going to be above 4 stars. So fingers crossed. Today we are doing little arts and crafts with my daughters. Whilst they do that, I'm going to go to a cafe because I don't want to make anything this time around. And then I've got to take V to an orthodontic appointment, and that's it. That's all that's on the agenda for today. So I'll catch you guys once I have read some more. Oh, I also wanted to mention the whole hype thing. So I had some booktubers talk about the hype button, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then I went on my analytics and I saw my video had been hyped by some people, so thank you very much, whoever did that. But guys, I can't find the fucking button, and I can't believe I'm saying that as a woman. And I'll just do an example. So I believe what the hype button is it's meant to help small channels like myself. If you really like the video, you click hype. So I thought, let me go hype up some of my bros who also have small channels. So I'm just going to give you an example here. So I can't see the button. So I don't know how this works. Obviously, some people have it. I don't have it. And I went to a lot of people that have, you know, less than 2,000 subscribers. There's no button. So I don't know. It's a bit of a mystery to me. But thank you to whoever hyped my videos. I appreciate it. And if the button ever does appear, I'll be sending some love to my other small YouTube pals. Okay, I just played that back. Why is my face orange? I'm not even wearing makeup on my skin. And yet, is it just me? Or does my face legitimately look like 4 shades darker than my neck? That is so weird. Or maybe something's going on. Maybe something's going on with my face skin. I'm having an allergic reaction to something. I will keep an eye on that. But like, I feel like this is giving Oompa Loompa. Dooba-dee-dee.
Phone stand.
Hello, my darlings. I did end up reading some things yesterday. Unfortunately, I'm not finishing my blog as of yet, so I was listening to Moon Tiger by Penelope Lively. The writing is good, and there were some funny moments. At one point, she was talking about how her brother had beaten her in a foot race, and so she asked God to eliminate him painlessly, but irreversibly. And when God did not answer her prayer, she became agnostic. Then the book veered into icky territory. So we get her talking about how when she was 13, she became interested in sex, and she would examine and study her brother's appendages whenever she got the chance. And I was like, what's going on here? Oh, we've gone into full incest territory. So I decided to let that one go. I then picked up A Girl Walks into the Forest by Madeleine Roux. So in this, Vala thought her beauty was a golden ticket out of her crappy village and life, but unfortunately a stroll through the cursed forest ended up with a monster rearranging her face, and her fiancé ends up getting buyer's remorse, and then she comes to realize that the real nightmare wasn't the woods filled with monsters, but with palace life and a count and who makes your worst Tinder date ever feel like a lottery win. The writing style wasn't for me. So I read 50% of this book, but I just could not get into it. And I do think it was the writing style. And I can't pinpoint exactly what it is about it. It did feel a bit choppy and the dialogue did feel a bit stilted, but I just didn't connect to Vala. I didn't get enough time with the monsters of the woods. I believe this is based on Slavic folklore. You've got Vala, so I'm assuming Baba Yaga, who they were referencing as was it the bone hag? Something like that. I'm guessing it's Baba Yaga because they were talking about a house on legs. I'm sure that they eventually make an appearance, but yeah, unfortunately this book just wasn't doing anything for me. I could have pushed through, but I don't want to push through a book that I know I'm most likely going to give a 3.5 stars max. You know, that doesn't feel fair to the book or fair to me and my life hours. So I decided to let that go. I honestly don't have a clue what I'm going to pick up next. I'm going to hit up the library. I've got a whole bunch of books that came in. We'll see if any of those tickle my fancy. I'll see what I've got going on Libby. I'll find something and then I will tell you what I found. So I'm going into the CBD. I'm doing lots of stuff. You will see that in my Get Real Weird With It blog. I am bundling up. I love this. I just thrifted this and it is so fucking soft, guys. It is so good. This is like wearing my rug on my body. Oh, I'm in heaven. And this just begs to be touched and stroked. But yeah, I'll touch base with you guys to show you my library haul at the very least, but hopefully tell you about what I decided to read while I was out and about. Hey guys, I am back. Let me tell you what I read before I do the book haul for you, because I do have a book haul. Okay, so I was reading Our New Gods by Thomas Vowles. I'm just going to move that a little bit. Is that better? And this is supposed to be a thriller and it's set in Melbourne. So you have Ash, and Ash has just moved to Melbourne and he falls hard for a new friend, and he starts to wonder if jealousy is clouding his judgment, or if his new friend's boyfriend, who's lurking in the shadows, is actually a bad guy. I didn't get to the thriller part. It just wasn't doing anything for me, but I had a feeling it wasn't going to be my kind of book. So I'm hot. So yes, I DNF'd that, but cool cover. I think if you're into a queer thriller, it might be for you. But like I said, I didn't get to the thrilling bit and I was just not captivated. I am now listening to Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. So this is a prequel to the Divine Rivals series, which I thought was decent. And it's about Matilda, who is a young goddess with messenger magic, think Hermes. And she grows up in a world where gods destroy each other for power. They all have constellations, and if they kill each other, they inherit whomever they kills constellations, and it increases their power in some way. And she ends up having a secret bond with Vincent, who is a mortal who once reached for her in his darkest hour, and he resurfaces when fate draws them together again. And as their destinies entwine, they must decide whether their connection can challenge the ruthless ways of the gods, or if it will destroy them both. So I'm getting, it's a bit of a maybe star-crossed lovers sorts of thing. They have to defy the gods to be together. Not sure. It's starting off very, what's the word? Info dumpy. We're privy to Matilda's mother and her union with a higher god. So there's different levels of gods as well. There's sky wards, and I think they're the top echelons. And she banged one of them. She banged one of the top men. And he doesn't want anything to do with her now. If he knew that she had a child, he'd probably kill it, maybe. It seems that way. So she made a deal with one of the goddesses of death to try and see her daughter's future, to know whether she has to train her to fight for her life and kill, or if she's going to be safe, yada, yada, yada. Like I said, it was a lot of info dumping, so we haven't really got into it yet, but we'll see how I go. I will give it 100 pages or whatever that equates to in listening hours, and then decide if it's gripping me or not. If it doesn't grip me, I have got some options to go on to. So I'm going to show you first the library hauls. I'm always so shiny after going out. We'll just pretend it's glow rather than sweat. Okay, so we've got Camilla Bruce, You Let Me In. This is really cool. It's actually a holographic bird, and I know the bird looks dead, so I'm bracing myself for animal death in here just in case. But we've got that. We've got Terrace Story by Hilary Leichter. It just looked interesting to me, and it's little. I like little books, and I cannot lie. And then I picked up Stephen King's The Mist. This is for my Halloween vlog. I'm reading just a bunch of different new and old Halloween books. So I thought, Halloween books, horror books, I thought I'd throw Stephen King in there. But because I didn't love his writing style when I read Cemetery, I decided to go for one of his smaller ones. But I'm hoping to find one horror book that actually legitimately scares me. And I don't mean like grosses me out with gore, actually makes me a bit scared. You know, bit like, oh, I can't read this at night. Must read it during the daylight, because we all know you're safer when the sun's shining. Also got this for Indy. She loves the Oi books. You got Oi Frog, Oi Cat. Now we've got Oi Dinosaurs by Kes Gray and Jim Field. So I will read that to her. She still likes having me read picture books to her, so I will continue to do so until she tells me to stop. I also grabbed Fen by Daisy Johnson. I believe she wrote Was at the Hotel, which I thought was okay. This is a collection of short stories, so I'll give it a go. But that was a good scent. We'll see how we go. So I did buy some books. I'm putting myself on a book ban until the end of the year because I have spent just way too much money on books. And when I say book ban, I mean I'm only going to buy books that I've already read from this point forward. I don't want to spend any more money on books that I haven't read that I'm just taking a punt on because I've been keeping track, and yeah, I'm spending way too much on books I haven't read, and to be honest, like maybe 1 out of 20 of those I end up keeping because I really love it, whereas I'd rather spend the majority of my money on books I have read and are 5 stars, because then they stay on my bookshelf and I'm supporting the author I thought was fantastic. So I'm going to show you what I got. So I visited some independent bookstores today for my final hurrah. I got this one. This is called A Tree, and it's by Onomatopoeia. So this was from Metropolis Bookstore. This was $39, but it caught my interest. It seems pretty cool. It's giving Sex Goblin, obviously, with the red and the black and the paper bouquet. So I don't know what it is. Obviously, when you print on red paper, it's got a certain heady scent, but that's what I got. And then I went to Escape Hatch Books and I got I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. So this isn't a 5-star read. I think I gave it 4.5 if memory serves, but I wanted to have it in my collection. I did love it. I wanted to read it again, knowing what I know. So I want to see what my reading experience is like when you do know certain things. But I still thought it was a really good book. And I also picked this one up. So this is new. This is called Fireweather by Miranda Darling. I did request my library to buy it, and they have, but who knows when that's going to come in. I cover bought the author's other book. Do I want to say Thundercloud? Thunder something. I'll put a picture up because it had the iridescent pearls, and even though it wasn't a 5-star book, it was 4 something, I kept it because I just love the cover. And I once again love the cover. I like the other one more, the pearl one, but this one's still very cool. And because the author previously, oh, I forgot to mention too, the inside pages, bruh. So we've got the cover here, which has just holographic, and then ta-da! Oh, so pretty, love it. So I thought, look, it's got a higher chance that I will enjoy it because, like I said, I enjoyed the previous book, and I kept it because it is so stunning. So for me, if a book is 4 stars and above, and I love the cover, that being said, I kept a faceless something or other because it had sprayed edges, and I got that thanks to Tom, one of my viewers. And so I keep sometimes books like that. But yeah, I will keep a book for its prettiness as long as it's not trash, or if it's got sprayed edges. Ready? I couldn't help myself. Listen, guys, this is ridiculously expensive because unfortunately Fairy Loot don't seem to sell a lot of their books after they've done the book boxes, whereas Illumicrate, you can actually just buy the books yourself instead of having a subscription. So yeah, I had to end up going on eBay for this, and people do like to charge a lot more than they originally paid, but it is what it is. This is one of the most beautiful books I've ever seen. So Catabasis ended up being a 4.5 stars for me. But guys, like, first of all, the sprayed edges, gorgeous, okay? Love that. But wait till you see the rest of it. Like I said, this is probably my dream book, so I had to. Oh my God. Like, are you kidding me? Archimedes. Okay, like, I couldn't not get it. What does this say on the side? Oh, it just says Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. But absolutely stunning. You've got a little extra page there. Archimedes. And then, look, there he is. There's a kitty cat. Oh, I just had to, because of this. This is porn for me. This is absolutely art porn. So yeah, I don't have any regrets. Oh, I forgot to do the reversible dust jacket as well, so you can do this one instead. But yeah, I had to. Look, I did like the book. It could have been perfect, I really feel, but it was still a good book. Over 4 stars. And like I said, this, I just had to. My God, so beautiful. So yes, no more book buying for me unless it's a 5-star book that I've already read and I want to add it to my 5-star bookshelf. I do have another special edition sprayed edges, because whilst I was on eBay looking for that, I got recommended another one and I thought, that's very pretty. I'm not going to go on eBay anymore, because I don't want to see special editions of books that I did not rate 5 stars, because I really shouldn't be getting them. But yeah, we'll see how we go with Wild Reverence. Otherwise, not this one. One of these. I'd probably go for this one first. Like I said, I'm dying to finish off this mood reading vlog, but it's just not happening. I'm looking for something that's giving me above 4-star feels. So we'll see how long it takes me to find something. That's everything. Oh my God, this jacket, fucking obsessed. I love it. I had so many people come up and say, like, I love your jacket. I'm like, stroke it. And they did. They're like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, isn't it gorgeous? It's gorgeous. So yeah, I'll see you guys once I have read something.
Sitting on the clean towel, no. You're gonna fold it for me? No? Can I take it? Can I take it?
Good morning, guys. Good news. I have finished a book, so I can finish off this vlog. But before I talk about books, yeah, it's been a while since I filmed because shit is crazy here. So 2 days ago, my neighbor that lives directly opposite me, you've probably seen her house in the background of some videos. She lives in a mansion. She got robbed by those machete criminals that are targeting our street. But this time it happened at 7 p.m. They smashed a window and they stole her jewelry while her daughter and her dogs were out. So she believes that they were casing her house, and that's how they knew when to go. I didn't hear anything. I lived directly opposite her. Granted, I was at the back of my house, but I didn't hear them break in. And yeah, it's pretty scary. She's moving. So she decided that was it. That was the last straw. And she's moving to a street where all of the people are paying for private security to patrol their street. Like, she's very wealthy, so she can do that. But my neighbors in our group chat have just brought up the same thing, because it's gotten to the point where half of the houses on our street have been broken into by these people. And most of the time they break in while people are home sleeping. Thank God they haven't gotten into my house. I don't know, maybe it's because I've got a smashed up car in the front, you know what I mean? They're probably like, oh, that bitch doesn't have anything we want. But yeah, it's really scary, and I don't know what the police are doing. I don't understand why they couldn't put one patrol car on our street, considering our street has been hit every second day for 3 weeks straight. 3 weeks straight. There are at least a minimum of 3 break-ins and robberies, let alone all the attempted break-ins. So the times they've tried to get into a neighbor's house, but they had security that alerted them. So yeah, it's pretty scary. I now have developed OCD with checking my locks on all my doors, and I'm not sleeping well. I am on such high alert because my biggest fear is that they'll get in. So I'm trying to think, well, if I'm awake and I can put the alarm on immediately and call the police and start screaming, they won't even break in. They'll just go, oh, we've been found out, and run away. So I'm like, stay awake so that you can hear them approaching. Like I said, I do have the new alarm that texts me and it says, hi, you are being recorded as soon as people approach. So hopefully that will just be enough on its own to make them go, oh, probably won't break in here. But I want to be able to wake up and press the siren. I want to be able to text all my neighbors like, hey, help me, and call the police. But yeah, it's very scary. If I had the money, I'll probably pay for like a massive fence that's not scalable, but I have a double frontage, so my block is like this. So the back of my block is a little tiny bit, but the front is double frontage because it's irregular. And I remember I got a quote once and just the price was astronomical. And the thing is, you have to get the fence on all sides because my neighbor, she had a fence all around the front, but on one side of her property there was a hedge fence with her and her neighbor, and that's what they got through to get access to a property to break in. But yeah, she's moving like that. She's like, I'm out. I'm putting the house on the market. And I'm like, fuck. That's what I mean. I'm just waiting until it's my turn. I'm like, they're going to eventually try again. You know, the first time they didn't get in, but now they're smashing windows to get in. So I'm just scared. It's really scary. But I'm also just trying to send protective energy around my home and be like, you don't see this house. This house doesn't exist. You can't enter here. Just anything I can. But yeah, I haven't slept very much. And yeah, after my neighbor across from me got broken into at 7 p.m. and I didn't know, and they had their van parked in front of my house. And that's the thing too, guys, because we've got construction going on our street, there are always vans and utes parked on our street 6 days a week from 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. So any car that's in front of our houses at that time isn't suspicious to us because we've got construction going on and we can't be calling the cops every time someone parks there. So, you know, I didn't think anything of a van in front of my house because the construction crew was still there. Anyway, that's what I've been dealing with, stressing me out. But it's okay. Like I said, so far we've been safe. No one's come in. We're okay. I picked up Tantrum by Rachel Eve Moulton because it finally came in. Congrats. It's a girl with teeth and an appetite for literally everything, including her siblings. Baby Lucia isn't just teething. She's plotting world domination via snack time, while Mom Thea contemplates whether she's raising the next world-eating monster. I was enjoying it at the beginning, so I did like the writing style. It went straight into the creepiness. We're treated to little baby Lucia at 3 months of age, decapitating a chicken and gleefully licking its blood off her fingers. And yes, she has a full set of teeth. Not only that, she fucking talks.
Not the mama, not the mama.
You do that one more time and I'm gonna throw you across the room.
Not the mama! Wee! Oof! Again!
3 months old. And the reason I put it down is the main character was too frustrating to me. So Thea has had multiple instances of Lucia being weird and has not told anyone. And even when the people probe, like her doula, hey, something going on, she doesn't say shit. And I can't stand that as a plot device in a book. When people are sitting there thinking, maybe I should tell someone, yes, bitch, you should. What are you doing? Why are you not saying anything? And I understand that I don't want people to think they're crazy. But in the case of Lucia pulling that chicken's head off, the baby literally had the chicken's head in her hand. Like undeniable proof, you know? And we reached the point where I put it down where she has gone out and she's had a run-in with her neighbor, her well-meaning neighbor, who watched Lucia, because Lucia was in the pram with her brother. She saw Lucia bite her brother and then try to gouge his eye out with her finger. And instead of Thea being like, oh my God, someone finally captured one of Lucia's fucked up moments, I have a witness. No, she goes off on her neighbor like, you dumb bitch, mind your own business. And I'm like, what? She's on your side. You have a witness. You can talk about, no, she attacks her neighbor and she's such a bitch. Like, and I'm like, no, I got so irate, so angry. I'm like, I can't be with a main character like this. That frustrated me. That frustrated me to high heaven. So I DNF'd tantrum. I would read another story from this author, but like I said, this main character, it was too much. It was too much. Not telling anybody. The child is hurting her other children. She's doing nothing about it. She finally gets a witness, and instead she attacks that woman for what? The final book that I picked up and the book that I read in full was Fireweather by Miranda Darling. So this is a sequel to Thunderhead. So in Thunderhead, Winona Dalloway, who yes, is named after the character Mrs. Dalloway, finally got the courage and strength to leave her abusive husband with her 2 children. In this one, her world is burning quite literally. Her marriage is over. She's lost custody of her children, and her city that she's living in is choked with fire and ash. This is set in Australia, so it's just fires galore. Her husband then goes on a smear campaign trying to brand her as insane, and the way she copes with it is by clinging to nature and talking to different people in her head. I guess this is looking at the boundaries between sanity and madness. Sorry, there's so many birds outside my window. And the way that the prose is structured is very fractured. It's probably representing Winona's own fractured state of mind. And yeah, she just spends her whole time talking to animals, voices in her head, stealing plants and trying to cling to her sanity when she's being told by the people around her that she's losing it. And you know, yeah, they're looking at how women's pain is pathologized and what it means to be sane in an insane world. But I will start by saying I did think this was a good book, and that is mostly based on the fact that I do like Miranda Darling's writing. I think her writing is phenomenal. This book didn't work for me. I understand that when you have been in an abusive relationship for so long, you don't automatically just heal and move past it once you are away from your abuser. And especially in the case when you are co-parenting with them, they still affect you. However, she is so passive. She remains so passive in this and continues to be a punching bag for her ex. And there was just too many things that I couldn't accept. Okay, so I understand maybe she doesn't want to defend herself because she has been reduced to nothing by her husband. And like I said, when you're with someone who is abusive, it's the frog in boiling water situation. You do lose all sense of self and self-worth and things of that vein, and it takes a while to piece yourself back together. However, she allows him to take her children and she leaves them there. You have to understand, obviously when she was with her husband, she was a buffer for her children. So she was able to sort of cop most of the blows to protect her kids. But now they're with daddy 24/7 without her, and she does nothing to fight back, to get her children back, to protect them. She does nothing. She shouldn't have even lost them in the first place. She just sort of rolls over every time her husband, yells at her. For instance, it all starts with the house that they're living in. She bought it with her inheritance. She doesn't even try to contest him when he gets her to sell it and give him half of the money. This is what I don't understand. It's set in Australia. In Australia, it doesn't matter if you don't have money, because I understand that's also a power discrepancy in here. He has the wealth. She's been a stay-at-home mum. Once again, I understand. I've gone through a personal experience. In Australia, you as a battered woman, as someone who has experienced domestic abuse, have access to free legal advice. So she should at the very least have gone to a lawyer to say, what am I entitled to? She does nothing. She just, like I said, goes along with whatever he wants and accepts his terms and agreements. And then on top of that, in Australia, not only do you have access to free legal advice, there's actually a Victims Act which gives temporary accommodation to women and children fleeing domestic abuse, and also financial aid. There are avenues of support and aid in this situation. She goes for none of it. And then he tries to substantiate claims that she's insane. He gets her to go to a psychologist. A psychologist doesn't believe that she has any mental illness. Then he goes, well, she was a shit one. You're going to go and see a mate of mine who's a psychologist. And I'm like, she doesn't have to do that. She doesn't have to do that. But yeah, she just complies. And the whole time too, when she's listening to him verbally, violently abuse her and threaten her, she's thinking, I should probably be recording these conversations. She doesn't. She doesn't. So she could have all of this evidence of his abuse. She does nothing. And yet there's also another scene in the book which was so unbelievable to me, where the police visit her to warn her that they're watching her because her husband has called them repeatedly saying that she's leaving threatening messages, no proof of that. She's throwing things at him, no proof of that. So he's made all these claims against her supposedly. Now she's on the police's radar. That's BS, okay? With the cops, you have to have proof before they'll do shit. They're not going to go and knock on someone's door like, hey, your husband says that you yell at him. No. But that's what I'm saying. So he's saying making all these claims against her, which he could not corroborate because it's false. Whereas she could have an absolute avalanche of evidence against him if she just bothered to take action. And that's, I got so pissed off because, like I said, if it's just her and whatever, okay? But her children are suffering every fucking minute of the day and she's doing nothing to rescue them, to get them back. She should never have lost them in the first place. It's very hard to in Australia to take children from the mother without proof. You can't just have the ex-husband saying, well, she's abusive. No, you need proof. They would have interviewed the children and everything else. So all of this was just too much for me to suspend my disbelief. It made the book really fucking miserable as well because we're just watching her get walked all over. So she's finally left after the whole first book. We finally got her reaching the point where she left, and then to see this, it was so depressing, okay? And then the whole way it was structured with the multiple personality voices talking in her head, I didn't like it. So it was disappointing. I still thought it was good. Like I said, I love this author's writing style, and there was some beautiful, beautiful sentences in it, but the character in this upset me greatly, and I don't think it's a great representation of how to deal with leaving an abusive partner. Yeah, I was expecting more from it. Like, I knew that when you have to co-parent with a narcissistic, high conflict, abusive person, you have to strategize. You have to constantly be alert. You have to be, like I said, gathering evidence every time. You have to be on it 24/7 to make sure that you and your kids are safe, that you continue to be safe, and that you continue to protect yourself against this person. But like I said, the fact that she did not even the minimum, like, okay, she finally left, but like I said, I don't like it too, because if you were someone who was in a situation, it gives this false sense of no hope, that you are powerless, and that's not the case. Especially in Australia, there is support and aid. Even if you don't have family and friends to help you, there is a system in place that can help you, and that wasn't referenced whatsoever. So didn't like that. Oh my God. But I will now sum up all the books that I read for this reading vlog. So we had The Never Was by Tyler Not Gregson, Fragments, Vulnerability, Neurodivergence, Imperfect Wholeness, The Last Banquet of Temporal Confections by Tina Connolly, A Baker's Magical Desserts, Turn Memory into Rebellion Against a Tyrant King, We Live Here Now by Sarah Pinborough, A Couple Tries to Save Their Marriage by Moving into a Haunted House, That Wants Them Divorced or Dead, Julie Chan is Dead by Lian Zhang, Dead Twin, Stolen Life, Filtered Lies, and Fireweather by Miranda Darling, Ashes to Ashes We All Fall Down. So these were the books that I read. Let me know down below what you read recently, and until next time, stay wild, Star Child.